All right, guys, we're back working on our Junkyard Jetboat. It's a 1977 25-foot Hawaiian. We call it the Junkyard Jetboat because it rotted away the past 10 years outside. It looks like crap, and we're not doing anything to change that. All we're trying to do is get our LS1 engine in the boat, make it run, so we can go do some sea trials and have some fun out on the lake before summer's over. So we've got a big list of stuff on the whiteboard we've been trying to work through. The hull is basically still empty. So we've got to get the engine in here, get the engine running, get it wired up. We got to get lights on the thing. We're going to do everything as cheaply and as quickly as possible, unless it's safety related. So we've got new life jackets, new fire extinguisher, but the normal kind of boat restoration stuff that we try to do right, we're not doing any of that on this. It's going to look like crap. All we want it to do is run. Let's knock some stuff out on the engine. So we got this thing to run in a previous video, but I had to hammer on like 4 of the injectors to get them to unstick. They're rusted, pretty old. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna steal injectors out of an intake that came off of our race car. When the engine blew up, it caught on fire. So one of the injectors is a little melted looking, but there's 70 pound an hour versus 40 pound an hour for these rusted ones. I cleaned all the charred, burnt car off the fuel rails, and they look like they're gonna work pretty good. So we'll swap the fuel rails. Got the injectors cleaned up. They look pretty good. So we'll get rid of our old rusty ones here and put these new ones on. Okay, I've got the rail mounted back on the intake. Seems pretty good. So we'll just get our injectors plugged back in. Luckily, they're the same connector. They did like 3 or 4 different styles of connectors on all these LS-based engines over the years, so always got to check that. So hopefully, these don't need us to hammer on them to get the thing to run later. Next thing I'm doing, we're redoing the controls. So this jet boat was set up to drive from the left side of the boat, the port side, and I'm not sure why, because every other boat I've ever been in, all new boats you see, you drive from the right side, the starboard side. So I don't know what they were doing back in the 70s, but I'm flipping this so that we can mount these controls on the starboard side of the boat. Because you know, when you're driving along, you yield to people on your right. That's the green light that you're showing at night. And so it makes sense that you'd want to be on the right side of the boat so you could see oncoming boats better that you're going to yield to. So anyway, I'm redoing that. So I had to flip all the cables around. I've got new cables in here. And I think I've got it about sorted out, but we will see. I've got these controls back together. I think I've got it correct. So I've got throttle cable, shifter cable, and they both move so easy now. So that's cool. And then our throttle only works, so that does not move the shifter. Well, I've spent the past 4 hours trying to figure out the solution to this problem that I'm sure is easy for some people, but not for me. So I've got our throttle and shifter assembly, it's all together. The throttle cable comes around, it's mounted to the intake here, so that looks pretty good. And the question is, how do you mount this to the throttle body? So it's a normal LS1 car throttle body, okay, opens and closes. It's manual. Normally a cable from the car wraps around this groove right here and attaches in one of these 3 holes, okay. So unlike a car with a cable that wraps around the groove, and as you hit the throttle, it unwraps off of this cam, we in the boats have a straight bar, and that bar just goes in and out. So it does not wrap around the throttle body arm here. So first I wanted to see what's the cable travel at the throttle body. So here, if you go full throttle to idle, okay, this motion right here ends up being exactly 2 inches on the other end, okay? That is 2 inches pretty much on the dot. Okay, so that makes the math easier, hopefully. So first I thought I'd just try one of the holes on the throttle body. So I took our little ball socket here and I threw it in the one hole that it's got, hooked this up, and with it hooked up like that, it's something like this to go full throttle, so hardly any range at all on this thing, which is no good. We want the full 2 inches that we can get out of this, right? Next thing I want to do is find out how much is the throttle body opening. So this is at idle, here's an even spot to measure it. So I zeroed it out, come over here, and we end up at, oh, there we go. It's like 84 degrees. Okay, so it's not a full 90 degrees that we need this thing to move. So there's the full puzzle. So knowing that you've got this bar that moves 2 inches, max travel, And you've got this device that needs to rotate 84 degrees. And here's the very center of the rotation. How far away from that center should our ball socket be so that when we pull on the cable, it rotates this thing the full 84 degrees. And that's what's taken me the past 4 hours to figure out. I started off trying to use formulas for a circle. Here's the formula for the length of an arc, but that didn't seem to work because, like I said, a car cable that's braided wraps around that arm. Our shaft cable, whatever you want to call it, it's just going from one point to another. It can't wrap around, so that didn't work. Then I tried to mess with a right angle triangle to figure out how long the side should be, but that didn't get us there. Here's the final, I think we figured it out. Okay, we know this is 84 degrees for this angle on the triangle, and we know we want this to be 2 inches right here. So 180 degrees minus 84 divided by 2 means both of these are 48 degrees. All right, so then you guys can look up the law of sines, and you can calculate it out. So B over sine of 48 equals 2 inches. Do the math, you come out to B equals 1.5 inches. There's 1.5 inches, and then from the center of rotation there, the problem is 1.5 inches is off the edge of this plate. So I spent a little bit of time on the bandsaw over there with a chunk of 1/4-inch aluminum, and I made up something here that would get us a hole right here, 1.5 inches from the axis of rotation. So let me get this back together. I know someone out there is gonna have a better solution than going through all that math. There's probably some product or website out there that'll calculate this for you, but I couldn't find it. So y'all let me know if you've got any better ideas than this. Okay, get our little ball socket. Thread it in there. That's 1/4 by 28 thread pitch, but luckily I had a tap that would fit that. All right, here's what 4 hours of my life got us. Here we go. Da, 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 da. There we go. 90 degrees. Now, it's not quite where we wanted it. You gotta go just a little past there. What I didn't take into account, there's a spring here on the throttle control. I don't know if y'all can see in there or not. And I'm not quite sure why they put that in there, maybe for shock. So I didn't take that into account. So you lose about 1/2 inch of travel while that spring is compressing before the throttle even starts to open. So not quite perfect, but you know, that's not too bad. So anyway, there was half a day gone to hook a throttle cable up.
Yeah, Lily of the valley, Lily on the rug. Lily drove here in a VW bug. Am I on the guest list? Give her a shrug. And we're gonna have a good time. Yeah, we gonna be like an ice cream cone. You better eat it quick, gonna be long gone. Buy me a whiskey, get yourself stoned. We're gonna have a good time.
Let's work on getting the jet pump installed. That's the magic of this boat. So we've got a Berkeley 12JC is the model, and it's just like a jet ski. So there's no propeller hanging out of the boat. Water comes in through the bottom of the hull through a grate, and that keeps rocks and logs from getting up in there. And it goes up into the jet pump through the impeller and gets shot out the back, and that's it. And if you look at the diagram, there's only a few moving parts, so there's not a whole lot to go wrong with them. Now, I've never rebuilt one of these, so I've been looking through the diagram. I thought I ordered all the right parts for it, so we're gonna try to get it assembled back together, the two main pieces, and mount it back in the boat. I think I'm gonna install the gasket for the jet pump dry, because I have a feeling this is not gonna be the last time this thing comes out of here. I'm sure I assembled something wrong. I'm gonna have to look for a torque spec on this, but for right now, just going hand tight. I don't want to strip anything out. It's just aluminum that we're screwing these into, so. Okay, so here's the last time we'll see the impeller for a while. So there we go. Gasket, and we're gonna put the bowl section on here. This has got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 big boy bolts. We're going 1/2 inch stainless it's got on these. All right. There's a seal that goes over the into the shaft there. Okay. What the hell's wrong? There's something wrong. Ugh, is the end of our shaft messed up? No. Some lithium grease. I'm having a lot of trouble getting this bowl assembly to mount up to the rest of the pump, and I've got some longer 1/2 inch steel bolts and some really thick washers, so now I'm just drawing it up on here, and I don't know if the bushing inside this bowl assembly, it's brand new, maybe that bushing's a little too tight. Either way, we're just ram jamming it on. I don't have a lot of time to troubleshoot, so. The impeller in here is still turning free though, so, you know, we haven't locked anything up yet, so we'll just keep going. Okay, we finally made it past whatever was holding us up. Make sure this isn't locked up still. I've got our rusty coupler. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, that feels great. Let's see, let's get some cables sent through. Here's the reverse bucket. Let's see, yeah, that seems like that's right. Steering's gonna go through here. I've been trying to watch videos to see how the seals go in. Everybody seems to do them different, so I picked one video and we're gonna go with that one. Uh-oh, that doesn't fit. What does that mean? Oh. I think that, one moment please. Okay, I think I finally figured out the steering tube situation here. Get the linkage hooked up. Let's see, yeah. There we go. For the reverse bucket cable here, it's got another rubber grommet that gets smashed between 2 split washers. And I don't know why they're split like this. Maybe someone out there knows, I'm kind of curious. Never mind, that took me about 10 seconds to figure out why. The washers don't fit over the cable here. So, yeah, I guess you're just supposed to rip them open like that and go around the cable. Yeah, okay. Okay, it all makes sense now. It's kind of an interesting design. Looks like it should work pretty good though. And it said just finger tight is good enough. Interesting question here, this cable, I looked at pictures. A lot of the jet boats have a swim deck on each side and they leave this part open for the cable. And then some will bring this cable down as much as they can and try to get the swim deck above it. So I don't know what'll be better. We'll just kind of leave it like this for now, I guess. So I've got our template that I made from the port side of the boat. Gonna transfer it over here. So we gotta cut this out for the gauges and the steering and get all that assembled. And then we'll get the engine in. I'm converting everything to 1/4 inch bolts where I can, so try to standardize as much as we can on this thing. Let's see if I got anywhere close to making this work. Ow. All right, so I'm gonna go run the shifter up and down, and it should lift this up just enough to where it uncovers the nozzle all the way, and then reverse should block the nozzle all the way. So I'm gonna let you guys watch and see. Let's see if I got this right. This should be all the way forward, and this will be all the way reverse. Go back and forth a couple times. Here's just shifter only, no throttle.
Well, a lot of people talking shut the hell up. Sneak out a beer in a styrofoam cup. I'm gonna start singing, so don't interrupt. And we gonna have a good time. We'll live in the country, live in the town. We'll come out tonight, gonna burn them all down. Don't let the bachelor get yourself down. We're gonna have a good time. Yeah, we're gonna be like an ice cream cone. Better eat it quick, gonna be long gone. Buy me a whiskey, get yourself stoned. We're gonna have a good time. I said buy me a whiskey, get yourself stoned. And we're gonna have a good time.
Now that we've got all that cabling sorted out that goes through the transom back there, let's get the engine in the boat and then we can see how things are gonna fit in there. The seats, the fuel system, all that kind of stuff. I don't remember what the engine weighed. I know we weighed it before. I think it was maybe around 500 pounds. I'll get the scale out so we can find out while we lift it back up in there. Hey, that was close, 531. I think I said 500-ish. Pretty good. Up we go. Going hard hat on for when this cable finally breaks. Okay, looks like we're gonna clear. Let's see. Okay. Uh-oh, it's setting on my alternator mount. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Well, I screwed up. Let me see if I can get y'all in here so you can see it. So the bottom bolt for the alternator, see that nut there for the alternator? It's ramming right into the motor mount here. Also, this vent off the back of the alternator is hitting, so that's plastic. I can get rid of part of that, but that is what we call a poor miscalculation on my part. Go ahead and file it down so that when we're rummaging under here at the bilge pump, things like that, we don't go cutting our hands. Yeah, surgical with this. There we go. Now it's starting to sprinkle. See if we can beat the rain here. I gotta get our coupler in. Try and line the splines up. That's always fun. Why will it not spline? Let's see. What am I doing wrong, man? What am I doing wrong? This is splined before. Oh, God. We got it. Okay. Okay. I got us moved back in here to the shop to keep us out of the weather. I got a couple things I want to ask you guys because they don't make sense to me. So I got the place here cut out for our gauges. I ran this piece of aluminum through the plasma cutter, and I got our holes cut for the gauges and for the steering wheel. To cut the fiberglass that was here out, it's where the old glove box used to go. And look at the layup of the fiberglass. It's 1/2 inch thick fiberglass, 1/2 inch of plywood, and then like 1/4 inch of fiberglass on the other side. In comparison to like the sides of the boat here, it's like a 1/8 inch fiberglass. The floor, it's like 1 layer because it's just punching through right here. The transom back here, it looks like it's 1/8 of an inch. But boy, for mounting that glove box, you got your 1/2 inch thick wood and then 1/4 inch. So I don't know why they built this part of the boat so ridiculously strong, but either way, we got it cut out. Got our new gauge plate there. Okay, next thing I want to ask you guys about is the steering. It's a U-Flex rack system. It's brand new. Just bought it from Berkeley, the people who make the jet pump. And I got this much play in the rack. I don't know, 1/8 of an inch before it catches and wants to move the nozzle at the back of the boat. Okay, so let me show you what that translates to on the steering wheel. On the steering column side here, this is brand new as well. It's greased from the factory. All right, everything turns nice. That looks good. Instructions are pretty straightforward. It's hard to mess this up. It basically fits on here, and you got 4 bolts, and it calls for 60-inch pounds, which is not a lot. So we'll do that real quick. The steering rack is torqued down. I've got the steering wheel center bolt torqued down. I left the little decorative cover off. Here's how much play we got. Look at that. That's how much you can turn the wheel before it starts to even turn the nozzle at the back. That is sloppy. I mean, I've driven a lot of clapped out boats before that we own, but I've never had one this bad that's brand new. This is all brand new stuff, so, I mean, is that normal? Remember, this is my first jet boat, so maybe I just don't know what I'm doing, and that's normal for a jet boat steering with the nozzle. I mean, I don't know. I don't see any play at the back either, so I know there's gonna be a jet boat expert out there that knows. Y'all let me know. Otherwise, I guess we're just gonna send it like that. I got the fuel tank in here and connected up to the vent and the fill, and I've got my electrical kit out so we can start the wiring on this thing, but I gotta ask you guys a question. The question is, I need to know what kind of video you guys actually enjoy, because what I would normally do is keep working on the wiring, get seats in the boat, basically spend the next month finishing this thing and do one big video, because that's what a lot of big YouTube channels do. They'll do a big project and one video comes out, hey, we built a submarine, check it out. And we just can't do that around here. If we did that, you'd get about 2 videos per year. So if you like these kind of videos where we're just hanging out in the shop and working on stuff together, let me know in the comments, like the video so I can count those up. These videos are a lot easier to edit and get out more often. But if you like the more action-packed stuff, where the things are actually running and doing stuff, just hit the dislike button on this video so I can count those up. It's not gonna hurt me or the video, don't worry about that. The audience is always right, they say. So either way, more jet boat action on the next one. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. As always, we'll see y'all next time.